Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly climbing onto you on a day when you felt exhausted, stressed, or emotionally off, even before you admitted it to yourself? Most people assume the cat simply wants attention, but cats are constantly reading chemical and physical information coming from the human body in ways most owners completely underestimate. A cat's nose contains close to high trum million scent receptors, compared to roughly num million in humans. That means your cat is detecting tiny biological changes long before you consciously recognize them yourself. When stress rises, cortisol levels shift. When sadness changes your breathing rhythm, your cat notices. Even subtle illness can alter skin chemistry, sweat composition, and the volatile organic compounds released through the body. To your cat, these are not invisible changes. They are loud biological signals. One of the most famous examples involved a nursing home cat named Oscar, documented in the New England Journal of Medicine. Oscar repeatedly climbed onto patients shortly before they passed away and often refused to leave their side. Doctors believed he was detecting temperature shifts and chemical changes associated with the dying process. Your own cat is probably not predicting death, but the mechanism matters. Cats are incredibly sensitive to physiological instability. So when a cat suddenly climbs onto your chest or lap during periods of stress, illness, grief, or exhaustion, the behavior may not be random affection at all. It may be emotional monitoring combined with proximity seeking. Instead of avoiding the unusual state they detect, many bonded cats move closer to investigate and remain near the person producing the signal. That changes the emotional meaning of the climb entirely. Your cat is not simply asking for comfort. In many cases, they are responding to a shift inside you that their nervous system already registered. And the fact that they chose contact instead of distance matters deeply. In feline behavior, withdrawal is easy. Closeness is intentional. Sometimes the quiet weight of a cat climbing onto your body is not a request for attention at all. It is a small biological decision that says, something feels different about you, and I'm staying here anyway. Ever wonder why your cat doesn't simply sit beside you, but insists on climbing directly onto your chest, stomach, or lap? Most people interpret that moment as affection alone, but in feline psychology, physical contact is often tied to territory just as much as attachment. Cats possess specialized scent glands between their paw pads called interdigital glands. Every time they step, press, or knead against your body, they release tiny amounts of pheromones invisible to humans, but extremely meaningful to other animals. To your cat, your body is not just a place to rest. It is part of their scent map, their emotional territory, and their social environment. When they climb onto you and begin pressing their paws into your clothing or skin, they are actively reinforcing that connection chemically. In multi-cat households, this becomes even more obvious. One cat climbs onto your lap, settles in, and leaves scent behind. Shortly afterward, another cat appears and does the same thing. To humans, it looks like both cats suddenly became affectionate at once. To the cats, it may partly be social competition. Each animal is attempting to place their own scent signature onto the same valued resource, you. Researchers studying feline social behavior have repeatedly observed that scent marking intensifies when resources are emotionally important or socially contested. And from your cat's perspective, your attention, smell, warmth, and presence absolutely qualify as valuable territory. This also explains why interrupting the behavior too quickly can affect some cats emotionally more than owners realize. When a cat is in the middle of settling, kneading, or pressing into you and suddenly gets lifted away, the marking sequence is cut off before completion. Humans experience this as simple repositioning. The cat may experience it as social rejection or displacement. That does not mean you can never move them, but it changes the meaning of the interaction. The climb was not random, it was communication. It was your cat re-establishing familiarity, ownership, and emotional connection through one of the oldest biological systems their species has. So sometimes when your cat climbs directly onto your body, they are not just asking to be close to you. They are quietly saying, you belong inside my world, and I want every other creature here to know it. What if your cat climbs on you for reasons that have almost nothing to do with affection? Cats maintain a natural body temperature of around mot trum layer mot phi num mui degrees Fahrenheit, noticeably warmer than humans, and their bodies are constantly trying to conserve that heat without wasting extra energy. That means warmth is not just comfort to a cat. It is biology. Your chest, stomach, and lap produce the most consistent heat in the room, which is why cats repeatedly target those exact areas instead of random parts of your body. Many owners interpret every climb as emotional attachment, but some climbs are primarily thermal decisions. A warmth-seeking cat usually settles quickly, tucks their paws underneath themselves, and becomes still almost immediately. They are not trying to interact. They are trying to conserve body heat efficiently. This becomes especially obvious during winter, cold mornings, late nights, or in breeds with thinner coats like Siamese or Sphinx cats that lose body heat faster than long-haired breeds. But temperature is only part of the story. Human bodies also become emotional regulation systems for cats experiencing stress or overstimulation. Sometimes a cat climbs onto you not because they are cold, but because their nervous system is overloaded. Environmental changes that humans barely notice can destabilize a cat completely. A new smell in the house, loud construction outside, unfamiliar visitors, moving furniture, or even a different cleaning product can create background anxiety that builds quietly throughout the day. And when that stress rises, many cats seek out the most predictable surface in their environment, the human they trust most. This kind of climb looks different from a relaxed affection climb. The cat may move quickly, land stiffly, grip with partially extended claws, or show enlarged pupils and tense body posture. In that moment, petting immediately can actually increase stimulation instead of reducing it. What the cat often needs first is not interaction, but regulation. Your steady breathing, body warmth, stillness, and familiar scent create a stable sensory environment their nervous system can synchronize with. As their breathing gradually slows to match yours, their muscles soften and their posture relaxes, the climb changes emotionally from vigilance into safety. That is why human bodies become more than furniture to cats. To a stressed or cold cat, your body can function simultaneously as a heater, a predictable territory, and a biological anchor that helps their nervous system return to calm. Some cats do not climb onto humans because they already feel completely safe. They climb because they are trying to find out whether safety is finally possible. This is especially common in rescued cats, rehomed cats, or cats that spent part of their lives being pushed away, punished for jumping on furniture, or handled unpredictably by people. These cats often carry a nervous system shaped by uncertainty. They want closeness, but they also expect rejection. And you can actually see that conflict happening in real time if you know what to look for. A trusting cat usually jumps onto a person fluidly and settles quickly. A cautious cat climbs differently. They pause halfway up. Their muscles stay tense. Their eyes lock onto your face instead of softening. They monitor every tiny movement your body makes before deciding whether to stay. To humans, these details look subtle. To the cat, they are survival information. When a cat in this emotional state climbs onto your lap or chest, they are not only seeking affection. They are running a risk assessment. They are asking, if I get close to you, will something bad happen? And this is where many owners accidentally fail the test without realizing it. They shift position, grab a phone, adjust a blanket, or immediately reach to pet the cat. None of these actions are cruel, but for a cat already preparing for rejection, sudden movement can feel like emotional instability. The cat interprets the interruption as confirmation that closeness is unsafe or temporary. Over time, repeated moments like this can teach cautious cats to stop initiating contact altogether. That is why stillness matters so much. If a hesitant cat slowly climbs toward you while watching your face carefully, the most powerful thing you can do at first is almost nothing. Stay relaxed. Keep your breathing steady. Let them complete the approach without interference. Do not immediately grab, restrain, or overwhelm them with affection. Give them the chance to choose closeness voluntarily and remain there safely. Those few seconds of quiet acceptance can reshape trust far more deeply than treats or toys ever could. Because for some cats, climbing onto a human is not proof that trust already exists. It is the moment they are bravely trying to discover whether trust can finally survive. When your cat climbs onto your chest, presses their paws slowly into your body, and gives you that heavy, relaxed blink, most people call it cuddling. But neurologically, something much deeper may be happening. That rhythmic pushing behavior, often called kneading or making biscuits, begins during the very first weeks of a kitten's life. Newborn kittens knead against their mother's abdomen to stimulate milk flow while nursing. The movement is directly tied to feeding, warmth, heartbeat, safety, and physical closeness. Long before a kitten understands the world, their brain learns one powerful association. Kneading happens in the safest place they know. What makes this remarkable is that domestic cats never fully outgrow the behavior. In wild cats, kneading usually fades after weaning. But in domestic cats, the pattern often continues throughout adulthood, especially during moments of comfort and attachment. Scientists believe this is connected to a process called neoteny, where domestication preserves juvenile traits into adult life. In other words, living alongside humans allowed certain kitten behaviors to survive because they strengthened social bonding between cats and people. And the brain chemistry behind it makes the meaning even more emotional. Research suggests that during relaxed kneading behavior, cats experience increases in dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is associated with pleasure and reward. Oxytocin is deeply tied to attachment, bonding, and emotional security. It is the same neurochemical system activated between mothers and infants across mammals. So when an adult cat kneads against your chest while settling into your warmth and breathing rhythm, they are not simply getting comfortable. Their nervous system may actually be recreating one of the earliest attachment states their brain has ever known. That also explains why many cats knead most intensely while lying against the human chest or stomach. They are combining warmth, heartbeat, breathing movement, scent familiarity, and physical pressure into one deeply regulating sensory experience. The slow blinking often accompanying the behavior signals profound relaxation and vulnerability because a cat cannot safely close their eyes around something they do not trust. In that moment, the cat's nervous system is not operating from vigilance. It is operating from safety. And perhaps the most extraordinary part is this. Your cat chose you as the place where that ancient memory now lives. So the next time your cat climbs onto your chest and begins kneading softly into your body, stay still for a moment. Because what looks ordinary from the outside may actually be one of the deepest attachment signals your cat is biologically capable of giving.